Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2021, and today I want to talk to you all about self-abandonment. So many people out there betray themselves for the sake of another person. They operate under the belief that if I give him my power, he'll give me his love. I'll say that again. If I give him my power, he'll give me his love. And it's a trade off that we oftentimes do unconsciously or consciously in order to get someone's love and their investment. We let ourselves go all the time, and then we wonder why other people let us go. I realize that in relationships, after talking with someone, especially yesterday, we let so much of ourselves go in relationships, and we sacrifice so much of ourselves in order to love someone else. And when you do that, you abandon yourself. And when you abandon yourself, you make it that much easier for someone else to abandon you. And I just feel like what you tolerate is what you teach. If you tolerate someone disrespecting you, dismissing your feelings, ignoring and denying your reality, if you tolerate that, you teach them how to treat you. You teach them what you deserve. And I think that oftentimes we teach people lessons that we're not even aware we're teaching them. We teach them how to treat us, and we're not even aware of the lessons that we're teaching. We're just thinking that, okay, I'm being compassionate, I'm being kind, I'm being long-suffering, I'm being understanding. But really, you're being a fool. You're letting people basically just walk all over you and treat you any kind of way, and you're abandoning yourself. Where do we learn this? Where do we learn to abandon ourselves? Typically in childhood. Our first relationships are with our parents. And if you had a parent who was a narcissist, if you had a parent who had borderline personality disorder, if you had a parent who had codependent tendencies, you will oftentimes notice that in your future relationships, you oftentimes put your needs on the back burner for the sake of somebody else. And we all do this. We all do. We all are guilty of doing this, especially in relationships with romantic partners. We tend to put ourselves on the shelf. And in trying to please other people, this is how we abandon ourselves, and this is how we also build hidden resentments, which oftentimes come out in the relationship. We oftentimes expect other people to make the same sacrifices that we've made. And when they don't make those same sacrifices to the same degree that we've made, we get enraged. We fly off the handle. We feel like we're being cheated, we're being played, we're being shortchanged. And that's because we've oftentimes got used to putting our happiness in the hands of somebody else. When somebody else is not making us happy, then we get angry at them. Oftentimes, if you had a mother or a father who you had to always take care of in order for them to take care of you, you will find yourself self-abandoning in relationships. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of us, men, women, we think to ourselves, well, if we give them our power, they'll give us their love. And so we give up so much of our power and our personal agency in relationships. We say, okay, treat me any kind of way you want to treat me, just don't leave me. Don't let me go. Don't leave me by myself. And I think that's a really, really important feature. Being comfortable being alone. Are you comfortable being with yourself? Are you comfortable just being and sitting here and going out to clubs, to dinner, to restaurants, to shows, to wherever venue you go? Are you comfortable, genuinely comfortable? Or do you see it as, oh, I'll do this alone, Like you're with yourself just in the meantime, you know, as a temporary solution, as opposed to a permanent answer. You know, a lot of us do loneliness, not even loneliness, I wouldn't say, because that's a different thing, but a lot of us do alone, begrudgingly. You know, we lament being alone. And being alone, and I want to clarify this, being alone and being lonely are two different things. Oftentimes we equate being alone with loneliness, you know, but loneliness really is the absence of intimacy with yourself. And I also think that loneliness, I have to clarify for myself, loneliness is also the absence of a relationship with a higher power. You know, when you're genuinely lonely. And loneliness is also a symptom. You know, we're not an island unto ourselves. We were born to connect. We were created to connect and build with other people. So loneliness is just a symptom that you also may need some company. You know, it's not a bad thing. It is what it is. But being alone, that's something that we have to learn how to do comfortably. You know, being alone. Because if you're not comfortable with being with yourself, you're going to always tolerate less from somebody else. You're going to always find yourself putting up with some nonsense just to have company, just to have someone, just to have a warm body in your house. You're going to just always find yourself putting up with foolishness, bringing a bunch of bums in your house that you know damn well should not be in your place, but you bring them in here because you're just afraid to be with yourself. I think that there are so many people, especially during the pandemic, you know, who experience feelings of loneliness. And loneliness leads to desperation. You know, you get desperate. You want someone to, you know, take away those feelings of aloneness. You know, when really those feelings of aloneness are going to be a source of information. It's going to be your source of information that's going to definitely cause you to go back into the middle, back into the center. What things am I neglecting within myself that need healing, that need addressing? What things am I not dealing with that I'm trying to run from by hiding in someone else? These are the questions that you have to definitely ask yourself, because you're going to constantly find yourself dealing with people who are not even on your level, just to avoid dealing with being alone. So that's rules for me. Personally, I'm working on being comfortable being alone, being with myself. And to be honest, it does feel so good. You have a sense of inner peace that comes from being with yourself. You don't have to worry about someone trying to run game on you and play you and lie and misrepresent their intentions. You don't have to worry about none of that. You know who you are. You know who you are. You know what you stand for. You know that you are for yourself. You know that you're not trying to play yourself. You're not trying to take advantage of yourself. You know who you are. But these other people, you always have to guess and hope that your assessment is correct about who they are. And even then, people pretend so well these days. They pretend so well. And so you really don't know what you're getting. You really do not know what you're getting. And so I think that a lot of people right now are going through this feeling of, how do I do life alone successfully without feeling lonely? Because we've been taught that in order to have a successful life, you have to partner with someone else. You're no one until someone loves you. And that's a lie. That is the biggest lie that we've been sold. That you're no one until somebody loves you. No, you are someone because you are God's creation. You are someone because you have yourself. And a lot of people don't feel that way. Because I was looking at 90s television. All throughout the 90s, the early 90s, the late 90s, we've been told, and even 2000, we've been told that we need a relationship in order to be happy. That we have to have a relationship. Everything was based on scandals, relationships, lies, you know? But you don't need a relationship. I'm here to tell you, you don't need a relationship to feel complete and whole within yourself. All you need is to be comfortable being with yourself, and also to be comfortable loving on your Heavenly Father. You have to really have a relationship with God, in my estimation, in order to really be successful, you know? So I'll just leave y'all with that, you know? If you're out there feeling the need to give up your power for the sake of love, if you're out there and you notice that you have a tendency to self-abandon and neglect yourself, all for the sake of the love of somebody else, of securing that love, it's time for you to really sit with yourself and do some deep work. Do some wound work. You have to heal that wound, because there's a wound there that's causing you to constantly self-abandon. You have to, for one, identify that wound and then treat that wound and then maintain the treatment of that wound. It doesn't end once you treat it. I realize that this is an ongoing process. You have to maintain the treatment of that wound if you want it to heal and stay healed. But to be honest, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to reconnect with yourself, which is the most precious gift that you can give yourself, a true connection with who you are. So this is Lewis Speaks 2021, wishing everybody a loving, wonderful life. Peace.